Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. This is our actually second show, and excited to be here once again. And just make it just a continuation from the last. If you're just joining us now, try to catch the first one. But even if you don't, it's okay. We're just gonna jump right into it. Probably have a couple things to talk about, a little recap, and that is it. So here it is. Got the Jam Master over here doing it up. But anyway, let's start the show. All right. And we got the walk over here. Showcasing the SG. One of our little favorites. Right, Dad?
All right. Yeah, how we doing today?
Doing well.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Excited to be here. It's part 2.
All right.
Or episode number 2. Jeez.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it's going well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, all we could do is just fixing my hair. Shit. Should we go?
It's the first thing we could do is fix your hair.
I know. Is that better?
All right, son.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back to it, right? So this is our second show. Excited to be here. Just kind of picking up from where we left off before, and just a couple of things that we talked about. One of them was the bongo talent show, right? And just a little bit on that, right? My dad, he played at a showcase in school. Then he got invited by some of the older kids for him to play guitar in this bongo talent show. And who was playing again at the talent show?
This was actually got invited to go to a TV show.
Oh, TV show. There you go.
And it was at Pacific Ocean Park. Back in that day, they had a TV program where they showcased new talent. And of course, Richie Valens was like one of the hottest tickets on the West Coast. Plus that he was probably, he was the first Mexican-American to go out there and perform in a rock and roll environment where everybody supported his particular endeavors. He was about, I think he was 17 years old at the time. And his songs went over real well. He made the top, maybe about the top 10 in just about no time. Mm-hmm. And he was a headliner for this Pacific Ocean Park event. And by chance, my neighbors, they were part of a group there from Cal High over in Whittier, East Whittier. Yeah, they invited me to go along with them to go ahead and play as like a warm-up band or whatever to showcase some other talent that was out there.
Right. They
also had a record out too. It was called Turkey Strut. Mm-hmm. And they were going to go ahead and broadcast that one. They did okay. They did well in the Midwest, but for the West Coast, it wasn't so successful. But through the years, Jim McInerney, he owned. He decided after he did the record deals, things didn't go that great. So he did well, like I said, in the Midwest, but then not on the coastlines.
Right.
But anyways, he ended up with Red Rocket Music Store. And then he also helped quite a bit with putting on shows over at St. Angela's church. So he brought in all the headliners, big headliners, to a local Catholic church here for the big events. Mm-hmm. And, he stayed dialed in like that. And then Glenn Pearson, I'm not sure where Glenn ended up, but it was my first time out there, and it was pretty, now I think way back at it, it was the beginning of a new kind of music, and everybody was, guitar players were lean. Actually, all musicians were lean for that style of music, and I just happened to know a little bit, and it was good enough to go ahead and play, you know.
To be on stage.
Yeah, 145, if you know what I mean.
That's great.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're thinking about that, too. That was really one of Richie Valens' last time on the West Coast, right?
Right, yeah. Tragically, then him, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly, big name in the Midwest there. Well, actually, Texas. And... yeah, they ended up in a plane accident, like most of the people traveling around back in that day. It was, we didn't have computers and everything else to tell you weather conditions and how bad everything really was up in the sky. So really, you jumped on and then said your prayers and hope you made it. And that's about the way it worked back in that time frame. So you know.
Yeah, that was just one of the interesting things that we were talking about afterwards that we did, share with everybody else. And then there was another one about, my grandma going to the Whiskey A Go-Go, right, when it first opened.
Right. That was actually at that whiskey over there. Let's say I decided to go ahead and do a little search on that one. And then I found out that, Johnny Rivers was the opening act over there. Along with Johnny Rivers, Johnny Carson stepped in there. Rita Hayward was there.
Oh, wow.
Lana
So
Turner and Steve McQueen. So they were all there when my mother was there.
That's amazing,
Yeah, unreal.
Right.
Yeah, I was going, oh, my God. I didn't realize it was so big myself. But, I knew it was big, the biggest thing in Hollywood in that area. They merged together with the other side of town, and, the stars everybody supported the music event there. So, yeah, it was really, really a super big deal. And, for Morrison to be the regular band,
right.
what a wonderful spot to be in, world acclaimed club after that. So it was just like, anybody that played there had a lot of credits behind them after they played there. So that's it on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
that's about it so far.
Oh, okay.
With any of the recaps, just a couple things to talk about, and now just keep on moving, right?
Right.
There was a couple things I know we also didn't get to. Talking about growing up in LA in that area. So I don't know if you want to go into that anymore of uncles. And things
I was
like
thinking
that.
Inside that part there was what I decided to go ahead is to take a look back there inside those formative years before I skipped into the Hollywood area. Then I didn't go ahead and touch on my cousin Carolyn. She got me into listening more of popular music at the time, and she was actually teaching me how to dance. So, along with playing and everything, then I did. I love to dance also. I love music, period. The common denominator in today's world is really music. It doesn't really matter what your ethnicity is or whatever likes or dislikes.
Right.
Music will go ahead and cure all. It comes from the heart.
That's right. Brings everybody together.
And so back in that day, then I started listening to the other style of music, what normal people would listen to, because I did saturate myself into different styles of music that the normal flow of kids don't listen to in my area, because everything was pretty well divided. So, so I decided to. Yeah, that's where my cousin Carolyn schooled me a bit on that, how to dance and all that kind of thing. And then once, let's see, I don't know how I got on this one, but anyways, I was riding a bicycle one time, and then I crashed into a car. Back in that day, the big thing, me and Jim Hickey, we'd take our brakes off our bikes and just ride them, and then we'd slide into a stop or whatever, fall on the ground. But anyways, by accident, I ended up running into, I think, Ray Molina's dad's car. So I flew over the car and hit the curb. So I was stuck in the hospital for a while.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So anyways, that might have set me back 1 year. So I could be off by a year or so, about a year, where I was recuperating. And then my timing on some of these events here could be off by about a year or 6 months or something like that. If you decide to, look up some of these adventures, then you'd see that I might be a little bit off on age there. So a little bit older, good. Really. It served me well when I was in the service, because then I had to jump on everybody about life experiences instead of some of these green kids that came out at 17, 18 years old having to carry a gun for Sam, And so really it was sort of a blessing for those people that had me around.
Right.
Yeah.
Got the good stories and the veteran.
Yeah. That's right.
Veteran at 18.
I had real experiences.
That's right.
Anyways, moving on to some couple of highlights from last time. I didn't hit how powerful Johnny Otis, my DJ that I listened to and watched on TV. We talked about Hunter Hancock.
Right.
But then Johnny Otis was the neighbor and one I wasn't supposed to go over to. But yeah, when I started looking up some of the people that he was bringing up, he brought a caravan. So what a lot of people didn't do, they stayed regional. Johnny Otis ended up getting a bus and touring all over the states. Now, that was very, very dangerous back in that time frame. Segregation, same, once you left California, I'm sorry, it was bad. White toilets and blacks, you didn't go to that hotel. And that ran true to, even the 60s, late 60s, 70s. Yeah, it ran true for quite a while. But anyways, he had people like Esther Phillips. He had Big Mama Thornton. I couldn't believe it. Jackie Wilson. Kicked off Etta James, Hank Ballard, Louis Jordan. And, it's just unreal. This Barbara Morrison, I see her every now and then, talk to her. She's still with us. The big Johnny Ace, Johnny Guitar Watson. He had so many people on this caravan. His show was just fantastic. Back in that day, your usual song would run about 2 minutes and maybe 38 seconds, something like that. So really you had to have quite a few entertainers to go ahead and satisfy these people. What you were doing is really bringing a radio show or TV show on the road so people go ahead and get a taste of everything.
Right.
So this guy was just fantastic. And then besides that, he was he catered to the African American crowd, but at the same time he was a Greek. He was a mixture, but a Greek. I think he was Greek. But anyways, he was white enough to go ahead and get a lot of these clubs to go ahead and hire these African American groups. And then once they heard the groups, the music was so good, they let him go ahead and play. I'm sure he ran into some problems. I remember talking to, who was it? I can't remember his name right now. But anyways, talking to another person that traveled the Chitlin circuit.
Yeah.
And, he was telling me one time he had to sing over there in front of a KK group.
Jeez.
He was scared to death. He was a black man in the South. Here he had his band. He went to the meeting place, and he was singing religious songs. So I think that's what saved him, really. But King Solomon, that's who it was, King Solomon Burke. I'm sorry. But anyways, then he had to go ahead and sing in front of the meeting of the KK people. This guy, African-American guy, in the South. It's like Mississippi.
Did they hire him or something? How did he?
Yeah, because they liked his music.
They liked the music. And
right.
He was partially black.
So,
Right? Or full?
Yeah,
Or was it mix?
Yeah, no. He was, Yeah, but he wasn't, super dark skinned. He was, they call it back in that day, mulatto. So he could have been a mix of maybe a native. He could have been mixed native because his skin was pretty light or whatever. But his, he catered to R&B people, the Chitlin circuit.
Yeah, that's still crazy back then.
It's just like a real tough adventure to go ahead and leave the West Coast to go out there and at these small places and play. But you had to do it to make the cash, to make it worth your time. And then, of course, Johnny Otis ended up with he became, he was bigger DJ, then he had his own record company, and then he did his TV variety shows, and he went on to go ahead and promote more music. So at the same time when he was out there, of course, he was looking for more talent, so that way he could mix his quest to go ahead and see if he could find other talented people out there. And yeah, just that particular part right there, I failed to go ahead and express how good this person was. Along with that, then the city loved this guy so much. He ran for office and all that kind of thing. So, and good spiritual guy. He went into religion, became a farmer. And last time I think we'd seen him, he was doing a show out in San Dimas, and I got a chance to talk to him. And
Nice.
He was there with I think Rosie from Rosie and the Originals. So Angel Baby Girl. Angel
Oh, is that
Baby, my angel baby.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways, yes, I got a chance to talk to both of them over at San Dimas. He was here for a rare occasion and a family picnic gathering. The guy liked family stuff. And then he was trying to sell me on apple juice, I think. Yeah, apple farm. So he had apple farm someplace. But real powerful person in the area, and I'm glad he retired and then took up, something that he liked.
Right.
And then he'd still come back and help the neighborhood out with a show that was, actually priced reasonably enough for regular people to go to. It wasn't an Elton John special, It was like just a real good person with low prices for everybody.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Along with that same vein, though, we had that I didn't mention was that I should have mentioned was on KRLA they had Huggy Boy. Now Huggy Boy, he ended up catering to more of the Hispanic crowd. Him and let's see, who was it? Art LeBeau. Now those two right there brought in a style of music that catered to more of they call it the Chicano side, so more of the Latin side of the city. Now the city was pretty divided back then, so you had your Chicano side of town, East LA and Montebello, all those areas. It encompassed maybe 1 million people. It was big. Yeah, but they accommodated that area. And then the predominant place in that area was a place called El Monte Legion Stadium. So over in El Monte Legion Stadium, they managed to put on the shows. Now, L.A. had a restriction where people that were 18 and younger couldn't go ahead and gather in the same place. So they were really restrictive. But in El Monte, which was still L.A. County, but it wasn't L.A., they had a stadium out there where they were allowed to go ahead and perform. So you had really, at El Monte Legion Stadium, you had some of the best rock and roll people around. And, of course, Richie Valens played there, and quite a few artists played over there at that place.
Yeah, Art LeBeau's still around. He's still
right. Yeah,
still does his gig.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He still does that gathering over here at Yeah, once a year, the oldies out there. I think right now he's doing it over there in Vegas, over by State Line, and then the Springs over there, and past Palm Springs, Fantasy Springs, I think it is. Yeah, Fantasy Springs. So, and then he used to have his radio show all the time till they changed everything up. But,
All right.
You call in for requests and that kind of thing. And it was pretty darn good. Yeah, real good. But then along with that, then I had to go ahead and learn a little bit more about, like Dick Clark had his regular show, and that was basically a East Coast kind of groove. So then you got people like Dion and the Belmonts and all that kind of thing that played from that other area.
Right.
So then I wasn't playing the guitar myself, but I was getting myself more involved in different styles of music all across the United States, U.S. music. And then dancing took up a lot of my time there. So I didn't come to realize it until I started looking at my past.
So that's where you get it from.
Right? So it's just like...
He can move.
Yeah. Now, back in the day, I just come to remember that me and my sister, we used to square dance, so our variety of music wasn't just rock and roll, twisting, or whatever. And then my other sister, she did folklorico dancing, so she was part of the troupe over there, took it in college and everything else, so... Right. Yeah, my grandfather was a ballroom dancer, so him and my step uncle, they were tremendous ballroom dancers. They'd have routines where everybody would stop and watch them dance.
Oh wow!
And then my grandpa, in order to keep his dancing skills up, he ended up working after he retired from the cleaners business. Then he decided to become a worker at the cleaner shop, and he was still dancing at over 80, just so that we'd have enough money for him and his partner to go out there and go dancing over in L.A. Yeah, so every Sunday they'd be out there performing and dancing, and
kept
that's
him going.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, and he couldn't hear. That was the amazing part. He couldn't hear, but his rhythms were right on. He could tell whatever
Grandpa
it was
Tony?
by the steps. Yeah.
He was a maniac too.
Yeah. Yeah, but then let's see, where was I? I was down here at. Let's see. I guess on Casey Kasem. I guess that particular group. When I found out that it was actually my high school year that I danced on his show, and by accident I ran into the guy that when I was watching it on YouTube, 1 year celebration of Shebang, and then I ran into the guy that invited me, and I think it was my sister. Went down there and go dance with his group. Now he was like semi kind of pro kind of kid, and he would always be on the show, and he'd always go visit Casey Kasem at Casey Kasem's house, and they'd have parties, and he wanted me to go ahead and join his group like that. But I was from a different school, and it was just like he was from La Mirada, I think, La Mirada High, and. Yeah, our group, I think we had maybe 2 dancers from our school.
Yeah.
I think it was Loretta Cox and Gerhardt, first name, can't remember it right now, but Tony Gerhardt. But they became pro dancers. They went into the Hollywood scene and everything. But, me and Susie were a pretty good team.
Nice.
And then over there when our earlier days... I'm skipping around a bit, but my earlier days there, me and Susie, when we danced square dancing, we actually danced back in when Knott's Berry Farm was free. Yeah, and they called our group in to go ahead and perform. So once they got done with us, of course, then they brought on super pros to go ahead and dance. But then that was our country western exposure. So we do-si-doed all around. Element left with the old left hand.
had to learn that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So it was just like, like I said, I was out there and surrounded by all sorts of extremely wonderful places to be growing up, because your resources were actually unlimited. Mm-hmm. Whatever you cared for, and then if you kept yourself open, you'd be able to be exposed to just about all different brands of music, and that's what makes this particular area so special. So it really is great to come and visit. Mm-hmm. Our kind of exposure, because it's the same way now. It's even more diverse than ever. Now you got people from all over the world. All you got to do is hunt. You hunt it down, boom, you got it. Everything takes a little bit of effort. Nothing's given to you, but if you got that love for the art, you can find it. LA's awesome. Yeah, you just can't believe it. I heard New York is that way. I went down over there, but I was on a different adventure. Mm-hmm. But I'd love to go ahead and do New York sometime. My favorite place to get everything is New Orleans, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My other Vegas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was sad to say we had that passing on of George Floyd.
George Floyd, yeah.
And I was really happy to go ahead and see all these young kids taking up the banner here to go ahead and participate inside his service here, to go ahead and wake up the United States into remembering what 40 or 50 years of struggle. I'm talking about Malcolm X. I'm talking about
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, thank you. Yeah, I started going into Malcolm X, and then I was thinking about the last time I talked to Carlotta, his wife, and it was quite an experience. But anyways, we'll get into that one in a future conversation.
Sure.
But anyways, going back to
George Floyd,
the struggle,
right? Yeah.
And then how it's necessary for the world to get into music and feel hard again. There's been so many pressures, because I believe it's the computer age has squashed your time so much that you don't have a breath of fresh air. Mm-hmm. You go to work and then you're micromanaged over here. Well, how much can we squeeze out of this grape until you can't go ahead and perform anymore?
Yeah,
and the only thing you have left is your music. Religion was fair, but even religion gets inside micromanaging. Mm-hmm. Get into that music, you got freedom. So inside my mind, I'm sort of thankful that we had these demonstrations. It was unfortunate for the riots and things that went on, but I lived in 1965 with the Watts riots.
Right.
It was so bad. I went down there, me and another guy, Bill Emmons. Mm-hmm. We were down on the Harbor Freeway over there to go watch it. Had something to do. But anyways...
That's what I wanted to do with this one. I was thinking, if I could just see it from afar, really check out the madness that's going on, because...
Yeah, we pretended we had a flat tire on that on the Harbor Freeway, and we pulled over, and before the Highway Patrol came to assist us, we were watching the National Guard out there with little brown hats, their helmets, and then the LA Police Department with their white helmets. Mm-hmm. And then finally the Highway Patrol said, you kids could get shot over here.
Jeez.
But anyways, it was just, it was good to see that the nonviolent thing, Martin Luther King's movement and that kind of feel went with the majority. By accident, I ran into a gathering yesterday, and it was all these young kids, and then in my mind I was thinking to myself, now, all my people that have been out there for these many years, 70 years, whatever years, mm-hmm. Now, hopefully, the end result of all this will be everybody would get out and vote. Everybody has a word in how the system works.
Right.
But if you don't go vote, nothing will change. And at the same time, if you don't keep music in your heart, nothing will change. So you got to keep those two things going. So listen to live music. Listen to something to go ahead and instill you to go out there and feel that that inspiration that those people are giving to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it takes a band member over 20 some odd years to go ahead and perform for most people. So it's true love. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go out there and grab it while you can.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing how that just spread all over the nation, all over. I mean, we're in Orange County. It's everywhere. It's where up here in Brea, up over in, where I live, the South Coast Plaza. There's demonstrations going on, and I saw the eulogy as well. You had Reverend Al Sharpton on there, and he did a great job. That's probably one of his most powerful things I've ever seen him do.
Right.
And he just spoke a great word, and really said it right,
Right.
It went through not only the United States, it's worldwide.
That's right.
So it's it's a movement.
Sure is.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, hopefully it'll continue and that people vote.
Yes.
Get out there and vote. I was fortunate enough also to say hi to Al Sharpton back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember one time, we'll talk another time, but Nelson Mandela was there, and
All right.
it was a good gathering. But anyways, moving along, I just wanted to go ahead and bring that out a little bit. And,
No, good time.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah,
go
I'm going to
back.
have to excuse myself for a second, so I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, go ahead, son.
Stay tuned, everybody.
All right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to go ahead and take a quick break there. I started reminiscing, I guess, and then I started remembering everybody's, struggle to go ahead and reach this point. And then so many people, I went to quite a few protests in my day. But anyways, quite a few people gave their last breath for this kind of movement, and then to be basically pretty close to pretty darn peaceful compared to back in that day. But brought a few tears there and just made me feel a bit delighted and saddened by what occurred. So I had to excuse myself for a second there.
It's all right.
Now let's get back. But anyways, during that where I was headed on that one was there was a guy out there that I didn't mention, a DJ. His name was Magnificent Montaque. Now, Magnificent Montaque was a poet. He was a DJ, and he was his exposure out there was a little bit of everything, because he'd always like to go ahead and talk about his real life experiences, and then how great the black race really was, and how it actually formed the United States. At first you brought in African Americans here to help clear up something for the people that come on the boats here. You had to clear up spots, and then they had to go ahead and learn to be with the Indians and everything else. So it was like they were sent out there as the test group to go ahead. They were like our Mars people, right? Out there at the space station. Same kind of thing.
Our astronauts.
Our astronauts. Instead, they sent these slaves over there from Africa to come out here to go ahead and become their people that worked on the space station in Jamestown or wherever they landed, Yeah. But anyway, so that's Montague would bring that out about all these courageous men back in the day. And then he also had the ability to go ahead and write poems about it. So he was a poem kind of guy. And then he wrote a couple books and everything. But during the Watts riots, his statement of fact was, "Burn, baby, burn." Used to be his call words all the time when he'd go ahead and go on the air. Burn, Jeez. Baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. And everybody took it as, oh, man, this is a bad guy. He shouldn't be saying that, you know.
Right.
But really he was talking about the strength of Africa coming out to the United States and offering so much power that they should go ahead and hold it and realize that the power of the black person was extremely good. It wasn't bad.
Right.
You know, so. But anyways, he was a DJ and KGFJ good guy. I was a KGFJ good guy back then. So that was another one of my odd stations where I'd pick up some of the best soul music around.
Sure.
So, yeah. But anyways, moving on with the DJs.
Good stories, yes.
Yeah, then over here, actually, again, we go back into our location where we are. We're located here in beautiful Southern California.
Right.
Only thing we worry about is earthquake or whatever. But aside from that, then I was taking a look at some of the places that I'd really been. Did you know in the early years at Disneyland, I used to go there all the time. I didn't realize how fortunate I was. I seen some of the best bands ever in the jazz field, along with brand new, bands that were up and comers and that kind of thing. They were good players, rock and roll style.
Right.
But really, when I took a look at the lineup that they had in the '60s for Disneyland, I seen Count Basie band, Duke Ellington band, Cab Calloway band, Gene Krupa, Stan Kenton, Woody Herman, Harry James. Along with that, then the rock and roll band, and then with that, to top it off, I like Dixieland.
Yeah.
So they had Dixieland
cool.
bands, what is it, America, whatever street. But But anyways, Disneyland was so awesome. Back then it was like $1 something to get in. They'd give you these real crummy tickets to go take the teacups.
Right, it's like a fair, right?
Right, and after that, then the rich girls would come in and we'd talk to them after we danced. Then we go take a E-ride on a real good ride, Space Mountain or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Matterhorn too.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, when the Matterhorn came in. But anyways, back then, and I was thinking about my exposure to all these kind of different styles of music was so big, and then I wouldn't see just the regular bands. I seen real professionals. So, they could read music, they knew counts, they knew everything. So that was a job back in the day.
Right.
And then the new people that were building electronic devices, Leo Fender and all those kind of people there, Les Paul and the guy that made Crate, I can't remember his name right now, but, on and on, they had all these other people that were out there during that time frame.
Right.
They were out there introducing new styles of equipment, and then the people that promoted them, it was like Lawrence Welk. Here you had Leo Fender over there, Lawrence Welk. Then you had these cowboy programs, had country music. Then you had Speedy West. Oh my God! You can't beat these country western players.
Okay.
It was like the West Coast Grand Ole Opry people. They also played at, by the way, they also played over at the El Monte Legion Stadium. So you had such an array of good players out there at that stadium. It was just flat unbelievable.
Oh, that's great.
Let me see. I'm going to go on and see if I can find. So, here we go. Yeah, they called it. The person's name was Cliff Stone. He put on a TV show called the Hometown Jamboree. It was. They called it. This thing was the Okie Stomp. So they got all the best players.
Yes.
And they were over there utilizing that same auditorium because remember now, 18 and over, you couldn't go into L.A.
Right.
El Monte, you can
could.
go ahead and have the bigger crowds. In order to support that crowd, then you had a pretty big turnout because the price of tickets were, dollars or less or whatever. It wasn't very much to get in.
Right.
But anyways, this hometown jamboree became a TV show, and they started doing that, and they had some of the stars were like Tennessee Ernie Ford, Speedy West, Bucky Tibbs, Molly B. It was unreal how many people they had out there from the country end of the world. But anyways, Tennessee Ernie Ford, I used to be his paper boy.
Nice.
Yeah, he lived out there, and he was doing the Lucy and Desi show.
Oh, wow.
So then he came out from wherever, Tennessee, and then he was over here doing the show. So then he ended up, of course, playing around the area and then doing the show. So then he lived on Colima.
All right.
And then, I remember one time during Christmas, he gave me a $5 tip for Christmas.
Awesome.
It was unreal. Back then, people worked for maybe 70 cents a day or whatever.
Wow.
It was 70 cents an hour, or 50 cents an hour, or whatever. So a $5 tip for a paper boy was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he had a swimming pool with the shape of a guitar.
No way.
Yeah, this guy was great. I loved him. But anyways, that goes back to El Monte again. So they had their thing too, aside from having the place where Art LeBeau and Ike and Tina Turner were there. Everybody was there. You name it. Chuck Berry. Everybody went to El Monte for El Monte Legion Stadium. Yeah.
Is that still there?
No, unfortunately, most of the places that I recall, just like they're trying to do with us for this virus, it's gone.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. If you remember it, go back there. It ain't there no more.
So they do have events out there, though, somewhere.
No, what's that?
They do have events out there, though. I haven't been to any
Where?
events. El Monte or out in that area. Yeah.
Oh,
they
maybe in
still have
that area.
something.
Yeah,
they have something out there.
Now over there, they give you a plaque. That's what they give you. I remember. I used to go ahead and help out with a vote for Nixon campaign. And right now, for Richard Nixon, finally got his library, but he's a Republican. But anyways, before that, they gave him a plaque over there by the Kings Highway. Now you go over there and you can't even find that plaque. You have to look real hard for it. And the place where he used to have his office, they knocked it down. And they put in part of the city hall or whatever over there, Civic Center. So I mean, that's just a sample.
Right.
Oh, what happens after time goes on?
Oh yeah.
It's a miracle that those the California missions are still there.
Development doesn't stop.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to some more music here. Let me find out where I'm at here.
All right.
Wrote myself some little notes and I kept jumping all around, so you got to excuse me on that. But anyways, over in I think I was talking about Disneyland, how lucky. And then another place that I was extremely lucky was a place called Retail Clerks. It was in Buena Park. Now over at that place, they had some of the best talent around. So I guess through my observations and dancing now, then because I wasn't playing in a band right now or anything, but I got a chance to see the King of the Surf guitar, Dick Dale, quite a few times, and then the Righteous Brothers when they were just before they hit it big. It's just and then along with the Rendezvous Ballroom over in Newport, and we had all the surf bands were over there. Beach Boys and on, Ventures, blah blah blah. It goes
cool.
on along with Dick Dale and everything, and then switch over to retail clerks also. So that was another place.
What was retail clerks? Is it a place to go see shows?
Retail clerks was a union hall place. It's still there, and they'd go ahead and hire out the place to go ahead and have events.
Okay, got it.
So back in that day, that's where the kids in our area would all gather.
That's one of the spots, yeah.
Right, and then it was right around the corner from Knott's Berry Farm, so it's pretty convenient, right off the freeway. Yeah, and over there at Knott's Berry Farm, like I said, it was Dick Dale, the Beach Boys, Righteous Brothers. It went on. It was very good. Then the Rendezvous had the same kind of lineup over there in case different areas, then you had different groups of people that still needed exposure. So especially at Newport, when you're talking Beach Boys.
Sure.
Then they ran the Pacific PCH area. So all the way up to the airport, really. And then
that makes sense.
Then after that, then boom, we had on my next hit list over here, we had the Whiskey A Go-Go. Now that was like, you couldn't get any better than the whiskey. If you were going to play someplace and you were in a band, you had to do the whiskey. And then the whiskey exposed those people, the people up there in the Beverly Hills area and everything, the big dollar people.
Right.
You go ahead and have a place to have fun and all that kind of thing. So, they're people like we mentioned earlier. Johnny Rivers opened it, but then, Otis Redding was there. Jim Morrison was a regular guy. Buffalo Springsteen, John Belushi, Charles Mason, Jimi Hendrix would stop in. Janis Joplin, The Byrds, Steppenwolf, Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, Guns N' Roses, Death, AC/DC, Motley Crue. All of these people would pop inside the whiskey.
Definitely.
And so they'd go ahead and play it. So, fortunately, little son got to play it.
Yeah, I got to go there. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not recording.
You got it.
The battery's low.
Oh, it's all right. All right. Well, hey, just let you know, this show might have stopped a little abruptly. We had a little video technical difficulties over here. This is our second show, I guess, but whatever. With the voiceovers going on. Just like those Bruce Lee movies. Awesome. So this will be the wrap up to the show?
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, then we got to do our wrap up click.
Yeah. Always another.
Until next week, we'll see y'all. Have a good week.
Absolutely.
Love y'all. Thank
Love
you for
ya.
tuning in. Till
Yes.
next time.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers.